On February 17th, IKEA representatives visited the zoo and donated 38 stuffed toys to Punch. This has caused the orangutan plushie, the sales of it to skyrocket. Didn't I say the other day, we've run out of shit?
We've got corporate lowering and
we are running out of things to think about, to worry about, to do to ourselves, to invest ourselves in. And now I'm annoyed that I know this. There's a hashtag, hang in there, Punch.
It gets better. It gets better.
It gets better.
Why is it like the arena in the Hunger Games where you can like have a corporate sponsor like lower in a medication?
We're almost there, friends.
IKEA sending in.
They didn't just send it. They went.
They flew to Tokyo.
IKEA representatives went to the zoo.
Welcome to Brief Recess. I'm Michael Foote.
I'm Mélissa Malebranche.
Today we're going to be talking about whether or not you should put your Le Creuset in the dishwasher.
You should not. Short answer.
We're talking about all the cleaning ladies who are also cam girls, Pablo Escobar's zoo animals, Punch the Monkey, black market NeeDohs. An interview with Yoanna from America's Next Top Model Cycle to the Winner about the new documentary on Netflix and E! News, and all your questions from our DMs. Just a quick shout out. If you want to, please watch us on YouTube. It's a great place to check out the show. You can see all the bronzer I'm wearing that week. And if you like the show, like the videos, get online. I finally made social media pages for this podcast. Mm-hmm. So it really is me behind them posting every day.
It's totally Michael. So it's not me.
We can afford like a guy who does that for us. So it is me. So subscribe to Brief Recess on our YouTube channel and check out those videos, and feel free to leave comments. We really are reading the comments.
Yes,
so
we are.
Check it out. Use the same pen every week.
I tend to steal pens.
But you almost gave me the Haitian mother look. Yeah. When she's about
Yeah.
Melissa does this face when she's about.
Well, it's her imitation of her mother, by the way. Yeah.
Who
my mom, I grew up in a household where you got your ass beat. And when she would get mad and she was about to hit me, if she was sitting, she would always wait. I'm going to do it for you. That's her bending down to get her shoe.
It's just her slowly bending down with this look.
But like with the eye contact.
About to whip a sandal at you. Yeah. A slipper.
It was always a slipper. They were called bata. And they were like leather at the bottom and the top, and the thong part of it they came in like multiple colors. And the ones that my mom used to beat my ass with were orange.
Whenever I say something crazy, Melissa gives me the look. She's about to beat me with a slipper.
Your ass.
I'm like, I know that look. I know I'm in trouble. Let's get into a sidebar. Let's talk about what's going on, what's happening this week in our life.
So many things.
Yeah. Because I said something earlier, because something's going on in the lighting in this studio, and I just have to speak to it, because every time we come to the studio, they have a different lighting setup. Mm-hmm. And it's almost as if I looked hideous the week before, is how I perceive it. As I'm like, oh, wow, it was so bad last week that we flew in a specialist from Canada who created this new light fixture. Who's going to finally know how to light you.
You are so self-absorbed.
So like vain.
It's all about you at all times. And you know what the other thing is? Do you imagine, because I say this to Andre all the time when I tell him to wear something or try something, and he's like, no, I'll look dumb. In what world does it make sense for me to tell Andre to wear something that he's going to look stupid in?
Yes, yeah.
In what world does it make sense that I let you go out looking like a nut job?
That's true. That's true.
Right? Would you let me look? And now I feel like, would you let me look crazy?
No, never.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't get a chance to light you when you were sitting down.
Oh, sorry. I told you what did I fucking tell you? I knew it.
We had to reset.
I'm sorry. I am paranoid, but not. Sometimes the paranoia is right. Like a broken clock is right twice a day.
I'm afraid for you.
Tell you right, I'm going to get bronzer on the mic. We're good. Okay.
So if you notice, the lighting is different because
we had to break.
Michael pitched a hissy fit.
I did.
Started throwing things around.
Yeah, I threw a slipper.
He threw a slipper. And now the lighting. But again, can you imagine?
I know. You are one of the few friends who's not like, oh my God, you do look great. And I look hideous. You will be like, take that off right now.
Yeah.
Or you'll be like, you've got something on your face.
Yeah, like, let's do a reset.
Good. What's that in your teeth? Be that friend. Be that friend for someone. At least have one person in your life who can do that.
No, I mean, honestly, like, especially we do stuff together.
I know.
And I don't even think I'd be able to like look at you and not mention the thing that's not right. Be like, there's a big black schmutz on your...
You don't have a poker face.
No.
Every thought is on. Don't ever go to Vegas.
No.
You'll lose because every emotion is right there on your face.
I mean, I have been known to hold it back, but like, why should I bother with you?
When someone's like telling you something insane, you are really good at just kind of like, tell me a little bit more. Why don't you
that's crazy.
Yeah. Then I'll get a text. My text from Alyssa when something this is what you say. Yo.
Yeah,
she says, why? Oh, and that's the text I get.
Yes.
It's never like, hey, Michael, here's something that's going on. I know there's some fuck shit is happening when I get yo. And I'm like, drop everything.
Here we go.
The tea
is
piping.
And it's usually, so the yo is like, yo.
I need to brace myself.
So-and-so has said something that is so. Do you remember? There was a moment. So I don't know if people must know this, right? You Michael and I used to work together.
Yeah.
And I remember we were reading something that somebody who is a professional writer do you remember this? Had sent us. And I looked at it. And I started throwing things across the room. I was livid. Like, I cannot believe that this person makes this amount of money. And this
is what we've got.
That's what we've got?
Oh my God.
I was and Michael had to like talk me down. He was just like, Melissa, it's fine. We'll fix it. And I'm like, I don't want to have to fucking fix it. That's her goddamn job.
Melissa really does.
I was so mad.
She gets so, there's other things you've been totally incensed by recently.
Recently? Let's State of the World?
Let's State of the World. But there are sometimes things, and it's never... With you, I've noticed this about you. It's never...
So it's the roast Melissa hour. Go ahead.
Not the roast. It's the Dr. Phil show. It is
we don't
psychologically, like I notice what happens with you.
What is it?
It's never the horrific thing. It's not like headlines. It's always like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
And you fixate on the one little stupid thing and you get so mad about that. And I know that whenever you're upset about that, it's because of the year of bullshit leading up to that, where you weren't complaining, where you weren't saying anything.
Where I was just choking it back.
And then someone coughs and doesn't cover their mouth. And you get out a Glock. And the AR... It really is.
It is.
Yeah, murder on the dance floor.
Do you think that...
And then she keys their car. Do I think what?
Do you think that is a Taurus trait? I think that it is.
You told me once you were like, I was mad at my dad for something, and this was 100 years ago.
You were mad at your dad, or I was mad at my dad?
I was mad at my dad. Mm-hmm. And you were like, Michael... You have to say something because you and I are the same. We're both Tauruses.
It's coming up on Taurus season.
Yeah, buckle up.
Our birthdays are 2 days apart?
Yeah. And you said, you need to say something to your dad. Otherwise, you'll be at the dinner table and you'll just explode.
You'll do that Teresa, what's her name? From Housewives?
Yeah.
Where she throws the
flip
table?
the table. Yeah.
Or Cardi B, what?
Judice.
Or Cardi B, what is the reason?
Yes. Yeah. And you're right. You do just kind of have to say something.
You do.
But it is a Taurus trait where we hold it in.
I do hold it in.
And we wait and wait and wait. And then it's that one time my husband loads the dishwasher wrong and he puts the Le Creuset in. Melissa.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. And he's being brought up on war crimes at The Hague. Like, it's actually so bad.
Okay. So now I'm wondering, what did you not teach him?
Melissa, this is... The state of education in America cannot be left at my feet. You can't lay that at my feet.
I'm not going to lay all of it at your feet, but I am going to lay your husband putting in the Le Creuset in the dishwasher at your feet.
And everyone learns in different ways, right? We have visual learners. We have people who need to be beaten with slippers.
Brad, why are you doing that?
I bring it up every time.
And he
I'm
says,
like, it takes 2 seconds to wash this.
Yeah.
It's the size of a Buick.
For sure.
To put that in the dishwasher.
You can't put anything else in there.
It's a one night only engagement. We've got just the Le Creuset cycle going now. And it's not going to clean it.
No.
We like burned macaroni in that. It's not coming out. That is an elbow grease situation.
It is an elbow grease
situation. The Dawn that saves the ducklings from the oil spills isn't even going to be able to help.
No, you need like a barman's keeper or whatever that one is. Yeah.
Yeah, the barman's keeper. We need the, yeah. I feel like there's a Fabuloso equivalent.
No.
Okay.
Not for that.
Okay.
I had to tell Andre many times that he can't put cast iron in the dishwasher.
That is actually wicked.
He was just like, why not?
He's like, it's nice. It takes the black out. It comes out light brown.
Yeah, that's rust, babe. That's rust. He doesn't do it anymore. He's learned. He learned.
But it took a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing is that I think what's happening in our house is we alternate nights of dishes. Mm-hmm. So if you walk the dog, you fold the laundry and sort of get the bedroom ready.
Okay.
And if you do the dishes, you tidy up the living room and hang up the coats. So
wait, why aren't you hanging up your own coats?
Every night you switch.
You're not going to answer me.
No, I'm not.
Okay. So you guys come in and just throw the coats on the floor?
And you know what? I don't owe you any answers.
I disagree. I'm asking you a question. You should provide me with an answer.
During the course of a day, there's like the clothing chair. You don't have a clothing chair? It's the chair you throw all your clothes and shit on.
I have like a basket, but yes, it's the same thing.
Thank you.
No,
Thank
it's the same
you.
thing.
We're not throwing sometimes on the floor, but not, it's like the bench by the door we throw it.
I mean, Andre, every day.
Hard cut to you and me in divorce court. Like the two of us are not gonna, we're not gonna make it.
It's not even, at this point, it's like, I just sort of like pick it up now, but Andre, underwear, socks, t-shirt on the floor in a pile every single.
He tears it off. You know what?
Yeah.
And some days it do be like that.
Whatever.
Some
and
days
every day
you've got to rip your clothes off. If it's August,
no, it's every day.
Flying off of me.
No,
Buttons
it's every
be
day.
Damned.
Yeah. No, it's every day.
I love that though. That is like, I think that's great.
Do you?
Yeah, I think it's so liberating. It's so freeing. It's very like upstate commune of him. I love that. It is very much like Flower Crown energy. Maybe.
But I just think, he thinks there's a magic fairy who comes in to pick up this is what I want to tell you. Sorry, speaking of picking up things, I'm sorry. It's all going to make so much sense.
Okay, I'm ready.
I finally caved.
Okay.
And we have a cleaning person.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Support an immigrant community. Like, I love that.
How do you know it's an immigrant?
Well, that's actually great. Thank you for clocking my privilege. Not assuming. We had a white cleaning lady growing up, but wait, no, she was Polish. So she was an immigrant. So yeah. Okay. So tell me,
Michael.
Not an immigrant?
She is.
Okay. Yeah, you fucking bitch. Fuck you.
She is, but
she's like, I just wanted to make a white man uncomfortable for a second.
I did, because you all
what?
need to be roasted. You all need to be roasted every now and then.
You know what? Catch me with the accountability. I admitted it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's so nice to like just have a clean place and everything is where it's supposed to be. So that's great. And also, a friend of mine was saying, and you're also hiring somebody, you're putting money into the economy. All that is really true. There is a part of me though that feels guilty about it. Like it's just the two of us and Arthur Weasley. There is no reason why the two of us together cannot clean our own place.
So the guilt isn't about having someone clean up after you. It's the guilt is over like you feel like you failed.
No. The guilt is why do I need someone to clean my home? I am capable of cleaning my home.
I feel like I'm not going to do it very well. Like the apartment right now is as clean as it's going to get with my efforts, and it's not very clean.
Mm-hmm. Is it not clean or is it messy?
It's not clean.
Oh.
Like I'm not like taking a Saturday to like scrub everything and mop and sweep. Like I'm not doing that.
Okay.
So I think that's where that is for me.
Okay.
But for you, you're feeling like I should be doing this. You're feeling like
I should be doing this. There are already things that I don't do. Like I don't really do laundry. We send our laundry out and I don't even take it to a place. They come to my house and they pick it up and they drop it back off.
Do you have a feeling? Do you feel a way about that at all?
I feel great about that.
Yeah. We had, so in our old apartment, every time the cleaner would come, and it was like once a month or every other month, the outlet in our bedroom was like always unplugged.
What were they plugging in?
And Brad and I were like, is she like filming in the bedroom or something? It was like always
that content.
I was like, is there she like, I don't know. I don't really know her. Like, I don't know. She's a beautiful young woman. And I'm like, is she like filming? Is she like a cam girl? Like, what is happening in the bedroom? And so I called Charmaine, who knows everything. She's just like, I just have one of these friends. She's like fucking
who knows stuff.
Wikipedia. She's just good. And she was like, you're such a stupid idiot. She was like, she's got to plug in the vacuum. I was like, oh yeah, that does make much more sense than she's moonlighting as a cam girl in my bed. Like, she's just like... She's like,
you know what though?
Slanging and banging while in my bed and then cleaning it up after.
Why didn't I think of that? Like, she's vacuuming, duh.
It was always in the bedroom. And then I was like, oh, right,
but instead I was like, what was she doing?
Sultry, yeah. We just had Boomer Banks on last week. What was they doing?
He was so nice.
But then I was like, you're right. There is only one outlet in the bedroom. And she probably just wasn't plugging the lamp back in. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Let's get into your algorithm is showing. What's going on? What is it in your feed today?
What's in your feed? We've been talking about my feed a lot.
We've been
lately.
talking about my feed. Okay. Have you seen Punch the Monkey at all? Has this like hit your feed at all? You were obsessed with the baby hippo.
I love hippos so much.
Melissa was obsessed with, what was the name of it?
Fiona. Her name was Fiona. But just,
if you didn't see Melissa's face, if you're listening to this, I've never seen like such empathy and like
I have empathy,
heartfelt warmth come on an expression from you. It's
not true.
It's not that it's uncommon.
Yeah.
It's just it really shone through when you said Fiona. You went Fiona. It's like the shoegazy coy moment.
So just generally, I like hippos. I think they're really cute.
She's like, okay, so more about Fiona.
Yeah, but no. Just generally, I like hippos. I think they're cute. I am well aware that they're not very nice and that they kill you just because they can. But and they move really fast. What?
Same.
Girl.
Right back at you. You're talking to the woman who kicked a man on the subway. And you're talking
He kicked me first and he had it coming. Let the record reflect.
He knows what he did.
He knows what he did. But yeah, so I just happened to like them. And then there was like this new one that was born and she was so cute.
She was so cute and chubby.
So cute and chubby. Her little ears would wiggle.
And their slimy little skin. It was very cute. It was
super
very cute. I even think the big hippos are cute.
Oh, I think they're so cute. They're just really nasty. Did you know that Pablo Escobar
had like a whole zoo. Yes. And they didn't know what to do with it.
He imported hippos. And then when shit got bad for Pablo, the hippos got loose in the wild in the jungles of Colombia where they are breeding like rabbits.
Yeah.
And they're changing the infrastructure, the ecosystem in Colombia. The local people now have done this thing where they're making money off of this. They have tours, Pablo Escobar's hippos. But the hippos are killing people left and right. It's bananas.
Oh my God.
I'm kind of all about it though.
I would do that tour. That sounds kind of cool.
I know, but they're not indigenous to Colombia, so it's actually really bad.
Is it really bad?
Oh, it's very bad.
Ecosystem?
Yeah.
It's not like one of these like, they're eating a little bit more.
And apparently, I think I read, I could be wrong, but like their scat is really toxic for the area.
Oh no.
I don't know, but whatever. That's what I read.
And it makes me worried because it's like, there's really only one solution to that. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's like we're airlifting hippos out and like placing them in zoos. I don't think that's how that story ends.
And so there was this movement to get rid of them. But the people of the area who have now started to make money off of this, they like, please do not do this. You will send us directly back into poverty. Really fascinating though.
Interesting situation.
I know. But could you imagine like, I think I'm just going to get a zoo and I'm going to Noah's Ark it.
So Punch the Monkey has gone viral.
Okay.
And I already ordered a shirt. It's okay. It's going to get here in 4 to 6 weeks. It's being hand embroidered. We talked about it already.
Let me see what this is. Go ahead.
Look up the monkey. Yeah, look him up. So he's very cute. And he is being bullied by all the other monkeys at this zoo. And I believe it's Tokyo, right, CJ? Yeah.
Okay, let me just say this. When you Google, I was like, what is this? When you Google Punch the Monkey and it comes up, Google sends hearts with a monkey in it. Did you know that?
No. There's a lot of support.
Did you guys know that?
I don't think so. I didn't know Google could do that.
Neither did I, but it just did it.
Wow.
That's weird. You know what, though? I got to tell you, my cousin Erica loves monkeys.
And I didn't know where this was going.
And we talk about this all the time about how I don't like monkeys.
I don't like monkeys. I'm not like a monkey girly. Like
they look too much like people. And I don't like that.
And like once they turn around, they've got like gross butts. They've got like a baboon butt.
The baboon butt. I think.
I'm like,
but I think
ew.
the baboon butt is especially when they're in heat. I think.
What?
I think.
Not even David Attenborough could narrate that into like a fun, cute moment.
I think that's what it is, but I'm not sure.
The baboon butt. When
the baboon bum.
In his bum. He would say bum.
His bum.
He was right on his bum. So Punch is getting bullied by the other monkeys.
Apparently 2 days ago, he was making friends and fitting in.
Okay. That's actually reassuring because it has kept my household up at night. Brad is deeply invested.
Punch the monkey finally accepted by his peers after Primate was abandoned by, I don't know what the rest is.
The live coverage. It's a live feed.
Oh, wait.
We've got Christian Amanpour being lowered into the monkey tank.
These are the questions that people ask in Google. Is Punch the monkey okay now? Will Punch the monkey be okay? What's going on with Punch the monkey? What is Punch the monkey?
I'm here to answer all your questions.
Page.
He does. I'm sure he does. And so he was being bullied, finally being accepted, it sounds like. But before then, he had a stuffed animal.
I see it.
That he was self-soothing with.
Oh.
So he won hearts and minds
that makes me feel bad.
Around the world.
Yeah.
And the zookeepers were the zookeepers would come in to feed the monkeys and he would jump on the zookeeper's shoulders to kind of like, because he didn't have any friends.
He needed a cuddle?
He didn't have any friends. Yeah. So that's been hitting my feed.
This is very sad. Go ahead. Now I'm looking at it. God damn it.
See, now you're really invested.
No, but it's sad. Like looking at him sort of like cuddling with his plushie is weird. It makes me feel sad for him.
I saw one tweet that was like, I know that plushie smells ripe.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
It probably smells so bad.
I know that thing smells nasty.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. My niece has been asking me to get her something, this like viral squishy toy. Mm-hmm. It's like a stress ball, but I forget what it's called.
Is it big?
It's called
Michael. Rude.
Oh my God. I bet it's the toy store. I'm trying to get my niece this freaking stress
Wait,
ball.
there's
there's a line. It's like a Beanie Baby line to get these stress balls for kids. They're called like something dough, DOH. NeeDoh, NeeDoh, and the kids are going wild for them.
Oh.
And so my niece texted me she wanted one. So I've got a local toy store in my neighborhood that I was going to anyway to buy a gift for someone. So I was like, oh, hey, do you have the NeeDohs? The woman rolled her eyes in my face.
Did she scoff?
Scoffed.
Yeah.
Like I had just asked her for the Hope Diamond.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like I was just Googling. I didn't know that they were sold out.
Poor simple bitch.
She
no
was
idea.
Like, this stupid. And then she spit on me. She said, get out.
You had it coming.
And I was like, sorry, I didn't realize. And she was like, you don't understand. The phone's been ringing off the hook all day asking for the NeeDoh. She was like, it's only $5. It's basically a stress ball. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, can I get one? And she was like, look. You clearly have no idea what's going on in the world.
Right.
You're clearly so focused on Punch the Monkey.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about what's happening in my world of children's toys, sir. And she said, why don't you come back tomorrow with cash?
Shut up.
Before 1 p.m. She said, because the kids at the local public school get out for lunch around 12:45, 1 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So she said, get here before them with cash because there's going to be a line out the door around 12:45.
So you should go there before that.
She said, you need to come here before then with cash.
Yeah.
Because the FedEx guy arrives between 11 and 3. So you can come back around 11 and try and see.
And she wasn't willing to hold one for you?
So I was like, oh, you know.
Did you try?
Yeah.
And no dice?
No dice.
Wow.
And
I mean, she's got ethics and scruples.
Scruples.
Good for her.
Rarely hear the word scruples anymore.
Because people don't have them anymore, Michael.
Scruples. Mm-hmm. It's so Shakespearean. It's so Hamnet.
There was a trashy novel I read that was called Scruples. And I think there was a made-for-TV.
Tolstoy?
No. Stop. No.
Stop! How dare you? Don't speak.
Wait, hold on a minute.
Let's put some respect on his name, Tolstoy.
So which size does Maddie want? There's a big.
Well, that's the thing is I'm going to get whatever I can get my dirty little hands on.
And there's a TV.
And then she's going to be like, I don't know about that one. She's like, that wasn't the one I was looking at. So, I'm going to do my best as the fun uncle.
Yeah.
And we're going to see what happens because I did call this morning and the woman took the phone off the hook at the toy store. So clearly people are harassing her. She's like, this bald lawyer keeps showing up and bothering me. So we really are going to see where that goes. I know there's more important things in the world.
Well,
but it's so rare. And it was actually like kind of fun throwback for me waiting for like a Harry Potter book when I was younger or waiting for a Beanie Baby drop or
Did you have Beanie Babies?
I was a Beanie Baby kid.
How many Beanie Babies? Did you have a lot of them?
Not like a lot, but I was like really excited. It was like, we would get excited about the shipment coming in of like, would the new Beanie Baby drop? So it did kind of bring me back to the joys of my youth before I was a hardened criminal, before this life of crime and, this.
Before you got jaded?
Yeah, this sort of hard knock life, I would say.
Scruples is a best-selling 1978 novel by Judith Krantz. It follows the glamorous life of Wilhelmina Billy Winthrop, the owner of a high-end Beverly Hills boutique, exploring themes of fashion, Hollywood, and romance. And there were two made-for-TV movies about this. 1978, I probably read this book when I was like 10. I should not have been reading this book.
Yeah. A lot of petticoats getting lifted up.
Well, it's
blushing.
It's past.
A lot of blushing cheeks and
Yeah. Women smelling like lavender.
Let's bring back petticoats and the word scruples. I think that's our takeaway from today. I think if I start using scruples in court, actually, I know one judge that would love for me to use words like scruples. Should. Yeah. He's always commenting on my beard. So I have appearances before this judge.
Yeah. Why is he commenting on your facial hair?
Every time I see him, he's like, oh, you shaved.
You shaved? Like, what a refreshing change.
It's just an observation.
An observation.
And he's, it's never like good or bad.
It's an observation.
Counselor, you have a beard. And I'm like,
yes.
I noticed. It's on my face. Yeah. So we're very friendly.
You and this judge?
Yeah. But I did kind of have to throw down the gauntlet on him a little bit this week because it was today. It was this morning.
Okay.
So basically in America, we've talked a little bit about like bond proceedings and how like people are just like languishing in bond detention centers. And basically judges are saying like, we don't have DHS, Trump administration are like making up rules where it's like, oh, if you're in this type of category and if you carry the one and if you were wearing red on that day, you don't qualify for bond.
Right.
And it's just like this weird, like back of the cereal box maze that they're kind of creating. But a lot of judges are like, oh, they're just kind of, I wouldn't say blindly, but they're agreeing and saying, oh, well, I don't have jurisdiction to sort of rule on bond anymore. And so what I've been trying to do is, because I have scruples, I've been trying to get the judges on the record saying that they don't have jurisdiction. And then I'm like tucking my hair behind my ear, tossing my hair. Just like
doing the hair flip,
a nice
blink, blink, blink.
I'm just like a nice blonde boy from Long Island, beard or no beard. Why don't you have jurisdiction? I don't get it. And they're like, oh, well, because like this rule. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, so if you don't have jurisdiction to rule on bond, I guess I'll file a writ of habeas, I guess. Like, this is my first day. I don't know how to do this. Control-Alt-Delete? Like, I'm not sure. What do I do? And they're like, yeah, like, I guess if you wanted to file a writ of habeas in state or in federal court, like, you could do that. That is like what some counselors are doing. Meanwhile, I've read the entire practice manual on how this works. It's written by the ACLU, blasts out practice manuals when there's developing case law. And so I know exactly like what we're supposed to do. And I'm like, oh, judge, for that hearing that I'm going to have in federal court, could you maybe set an alternate bond so I could tell that judge, if it weren't for your jurisdiction problem, you would assign this bond amount, but you can't because you're not going to rule because you don't have jurisdiction. Give me like a plan B.
And does that work?
Sometimes it works. So sometimes they're like, oh yeah, sure. If we did have jurisdiction, it would be $2,000.
Okay.
And then I go to federal court and I'm like, it's $2,000. They said it's $2,000. I got him on the record saying alternate bond is $2,000 if he had jurisdiction. So, Your Honor, in federal court, rule in our favor that he should be released, and I can get him out for $2,000. I already got him to commit to it. Mm-hmm. So that's how like the ACLU is advising practicing immigration attorneys to handle immigration judges who are like, I don't have jurisdiction. So there's a little bit of insider baseball.
Yeah.
But it is like, I'm kind of having fun. I'm kind of enjoying it.
Well, because you like messing with people.
Yeah. I love it's legal strategy. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not even like being a shady bitch where I'm like manipulating people like I do in my everyday life. But then I'm in court and I get to say it's legal strategy. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's really nice. Mm-hmm. So it's really fun to, abide by the rules and
have it work in your favor.
Assert legal strategy in the courtroom. And then go back to my life where I can be a manipulative slut.
And you do that very, very well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of, your algorithm is showing. Mm-hmm. I feel like, I don't know, Timothée Chalamet getting canceled for the ballet opera. That actually, they're like mopping up his mess. And someone was saying that it cost him the Oscar.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. I saw that, but I also think when you say that cost him the Oscar, I think it takes away from the person who actually won, right? Like this idea that
Timothée Chalamet was never on my mind for an Oscar. I mean, especially not for Marty Supreme.
So it's really interesting that you're saying that has not hit my algorithm almost at all.
I don't even know what it's about. I was at an Oscar viewing party and someone had to explain to me what it was. It's about ping pong.
Okay.
And I said, that's all I need to know. Thank you so
seriously,
much.
That's all I need to know.
I said, thank you so much. Where's the crudité? Yeah. I said, please pass the...
Where's the charcuterie board?
Thank you, the charcuterie. What does Oprah say? I love charcuterie. Do you remember that? She's like, I love it. But yeah, Timothée Chalamet, I don't know. We're getting...
I just don't care.
I don't...
Do you know what I'm saying? Like not in a way that I hope something... not on my radar.
You don't hope he dies in a fire?
No, I don't hope he dies in a fire.
Me either. I'm just like... Yeah, I just don't
care.
It's given flop. It's given flop era. I think, also I will say Dune 3.
How many Dunes do we need?
The Dune books don't get better as they go on. Like the first one was fierce.
I only read the first one.
Great. Mm-hmm. Third one, huh?
Like, why?
Oh, like it does get a little bit more wicked and wild. Uh-huh. So I feel like I hope whoever the screenwriters are taking.
No, they're not.
I hope they're taking it and putting their spin on it.
No, I doubt it.
Yeah, giving her a glow up.
Especially if it's the same. What I find is that many times, not every time, so calm down, but many times when there are like sequels of things, it just becomes more watered down.
Diluted, yes.
The more we get into it. And now it's like, I'll say this. It's what was it that I watched? Masterful Beasts or whatever, and Where to Find Them.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Yeah.
Now, I went into that full on Harry Potter person, really excited about it. I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know that I needed it.
Yeah.
And I'll go even further with the play.
Oh, the play.
When I
saw Harry Potter on Broadway.
Oh dear God! So when I went to go see it, it was the 2-day thing.
It was the 2 days,
but I didn't do the 2-day. I did like the all day.
Yeah.
I will never get that time back again.
It's multiple days of her life. Multiple days.
And again, remember,
she's getting paid hourly.
Well, no, but. You know how much I love those stories, right? So I wanted this to be good.
You were looking for the...
I was, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to go by myself.
Yeah.
This is going to be a Melissa day.
Yeah. No, and that Melissa day was,
I was deeply disappointed.
Yeah.
So just because something is good, doesn't mean we need to like...
The Dune. We have to make the fifth.
We have to do them over and over again.
Are you into the whole like ensemble cast on audiobook now?
Oh, you know what? Somebody gifted me the first one, and I listened to it, and I did not care for it.
I think, and so Timothée Chalamet, to clarify, his statements were that ballet and opera
are like dead.
Are like irrelevant.
Yeah.
That was like sort of what he said. And then he said, oh, I guess I just lost 1% of my followers or something so cavalier.
Mm-hmm.
And Matthew McConaughey's face.
That's the thing. That's the clip that I saw when he's looking at him and he's just like,
oh, shit.
This guy is really.
Oh, just let him dig his.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit
He's
here.
like, I'm going to be Paul Atreides now.
All right.
We're going to have Matthew McConaughey in Dune 4 because Timothy's contract is about to get gutted.
Yeah, like it's just.
Well, because now not only have you offended like a community of people, you offended a community of people known for being fucking dramatic.
Right.
So, like, good luck to you, sir. Good night and good luck.
Bonne chance.
You didn't offend the quiet librarian.
No.
You offended the opera singer who's known for yelling, belting out the notes, and who's on TikTok. You're toast, man.
I don't know. It just made him seem more irrelevant. Do you know what I mean? Like this is already not somebody that I cared about, but now I'm looking for more reasons to not like you because you're dumb.
And
like,
because
do you
you're
know
saying
what I mean?
things as if you're relevant.
Right.
You're saying things as if everyone's like, what's Timothy's opinion on this? Well, I can't. At a film festival a couple of years ago, he was like, oh, societal collapse is in the air. And I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Is he a scholar?
Does anyone?
What?
Anyway, let's take a break. We've got a guest coming up. Welcome back to Brief Recess. This is Under Oath. I'm so excited. I'm a huge fan. I'm very happy to have Yoanna from an extraordinary modeling career. She's very well known in the modeling industry. You may know her as the winner of Cycle 2 of America's Next Top Model. She is right now being featured in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. It's America's Next Top Model documentary that was released at the same time as the Netflix documentary. So thank you so much for coming, Yoanna. We're so excited.
Thank you, Michael. I'm excited to talk with you and Melissa.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you, Yoanna.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming. I thought it would just be really interesting. I mean, this is a legal podcast, but we cover everything. Pop culture, news, everything that's going on. And I love being on social media. So we have so many things that come up on my feed. And you were definitely one of them. I mean, like the things that are going on right now as there is this like reckoning moment in America for the history of America's Next Top Model and really reality television in the 2000s, right? And the aughts. So I thought it would be so cool to have you and welcome you to the show. And we really just want to like talk to you and get to know you and hear about your experiences. I want to ask, I think it would be best if we start before you were on America's Next Top Model, because you had a long, incredible modeling career, and it wasn't like it began with Tyra Banks, right?
Yeah, that's true. I think there's a little bit of a misconception that I identified all of my modeling career from being on the show. But no, I had lost a significant amount of weight because I did want to break into modeling. I was at university, I was studying international relations. And I had a chance to kind of do testing in Miami with a few agencies, and I got discovered by Ford Models, and they had given me a contract. But prior to that, during the week that I got the contract, I got the call to audition for the show. So I hadn't signed it yet. And I remember telling Michelle Mock, who was the casting director, hey, I have this model. And she was very like, take it or leave it. If you want to come on the show, great. But you can't, I can't tell you what to do, but we don't accept models that have signed contracts to come on this show. Wow. So I did the audition, and that was a very thorough, long process. And I decided, well, at least if I try out, I'll have a broader reach. I also thought there'd be some sort of mentorship and great experience and kind of like somewhat of a boot camp. And I thought, well, I can come home to at least a contract waiting for me with Ford Models.
What was that like then? So you went on America's Next Top Model, you won, spoiler alert, it was not, it was a while ago, so no spoilers here. You won your season. What was that journey like? Do you feel like after America's Next Top Model, that was the right sort of path to take? Did you have this moment where you were like,
that's what I was thinking. Like, I was wondering in hindsight, if you had to do it all over again, is there any part of you that wishes that maybe you had gone ahead and stayed with Ford? Or do you feel like, you were at the right moment at the right time and being on America's Next Top Model was the good thing for you to do?
I think it's hard for me to even answer that because I come from Jacksonville, which is kind of a small town, but a big city. And I was really sheltered. And so I feel like my ultimate goal was to live in New York City and to work as a fashion model. And I think, I might have stayed in the Florida market and gradually progressed. But in hindsight, I think the one takeaway from the whole experience, I don't deal well with celebrityism. And I find because it opens the door to a lot of coolness, and it's very hard for me to even kind of take a risk at the time, I was getting offers to go back on reality TV. And I really just was adamant about staying the course and being a fashion model and also growing in television. And that's really where I guess you could say I was able to break out of the debt that incurred after the show. I wasn't expecting a lot after what was going to happen or what was going to have to be on my shoulders. And it really was eye-opening, and it kind of had to navigate how to be a businesswoman.
And so after you won the show, walk us through what that experience was like, right? There were certain promises we're hearing all over the internet. We're seeing all over these documentaries that really what was billed as Tyra was going to be your mentor. Right. You were going to get these modeling contracts. You were going to get signed by these agencies. This was your career was pretty much guaranteed, right? We're really learning now that is not necessarily what the takeaway was, or at least that promise, not necessarily that all of that was promised that you were going to be a superstar if you won this show, but they weren't also dispelling that rumor or letting the girls know hey, it's really going to be up to you, your celebrity, how famous you are, how far you make it in the modeling industry. That's really going to be up to you and whether you're an entrepreneur or not.
Well, yeah, I think that discussion hadn't even happened. I just remember coming off the show, you go away, I was away for 6 months. I was still nannying. I saved up all of my money, and I knew I was going to have to eventually move to New York. I didn't know the day they announced me that I had to live in New York. So even navigating where I was going to live.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy. And on that same day, getting established with an agency that, that was the contract I won. It was only for 1 year, but I stayed for several years. And it really was just a right to work. But were there empty promises? 1,000%. There was, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing that. So in my mind, I kept building up, oh, great, now I'm going to be self-sufficient and I can take care of myself. They're going to be introducing me to this client and to that client. And they have a lot of pull because of their record. I don't want to throw names out there, but certain people are very recognized. And I thought, okay, they're going to want to introduce me. I'm going to make introductions, and I'm going to work hard to prove myself after this. And ended up being where I just felt it was more about being a jockey for the franchise and having to constantly do appearance after appearance after appearance after appearance. And I was getting billed for all those appearances. In regards to hair, makeup, car services, if there was a flight or a delay. And I was shocked. I was shocked that, maybe being so naive and trusting that I thought it would have gotten taken care of by the network. But no, it was all on me. And that was separate from what was the debt incurring with the agency, because I had to rebuild my whole portfolio. They couldn't use any of the images from the show. And so I had to.
Interesting, because it's all owned by the network. It's all owned by the show.
And I think it doesn't really sell a model because you have to be so toned down. So that day when I signed, I went directly to go shoot with some of the world's greatest photographers. And I was having to incur, the testing fees. Right. And that would be the branding for the agency. So that was a whole separate debt that I was incurring. And then I was having to figure out how I was going to maintain living in New York while doing all of this. And a big part of the, what was shock to me was with all the appearances, I did have work coming in, but I wasn't allowed to take some of the jobs because I was indebted to the franchise and they got seniority over me being able to work.
Wow. That's
and a lot
crazy.
Of people, yes.
So just for people who are listening and maybe don't understand, so you had signed this contract to be on this show. It sounds like all these terms were in that contract. You're going to do all these appearances. It's going to be at your own expense. We get first right of refusal for if you book a gig and we have you booked at that same time, they could kill a deal that you got in market because you had already signed that contract.
I had 2 great deals that were in the works, and they were I'm sorry, but you have to go up here. And then I started becoming really angry because I thought, okay, first of all, how am I going to be able to afford to maintain the title of America's Next Top Model when I'm not even able to take some of the jobs that they're
I
offering.
can't even just
Right.
take work that any model could get a gig.
So, Yoanna,
Right.
so after you win, is that when you sign a contract for the year that's ahead of you? And did you get an opportunity to show that contract to anybody else? Or did you, and being young and naive or whatever,
Gosh.
did you just sort of sign it thinking that I should trust these people?
We have a funny thing because you're an attorney, Michael. And
Yeah.
I think anytime you're like, I'm going to get an attorney to look at this. Well, if you're going to do that, you're ungrateful and
Yep.
you don't want this job and you
Yeah.
want
Right.
this. So it was very like, oh crap. Like, okay. So I
Yeah.
remember signing on to the show and if you won and the fine print was there. However, I do not recall anything in regards to appearances.
Yeah.
Or how many, and I'm not talking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it was like getting into the dozens. And, also going
Oh my
on
God.
onto the
That's
show,
wild.
doing all these red carpet events, doing charity events, doing step and repeats for the network. It was like, in hindsight, it was just so many. And then, and I'll be honest, it was overwhelming. I didn't have the clothes to support the appearances.
Sure.
I didn't
Right.
have the budget to do that. And a lot of the fashion houses did not want to lend to a winner of America's Next Top Model.
Sure.
Why do you think that was? Because you were on an earlier season,
Mhm.
the sort of campiness of the show
Yes.
they really leaned hard
Yes.
into the insanity, right? I think at one point we have images of the contestants walking down a runway where there's like a clock pendulum swinging, like
Yes.
knocking
Gosh.
girls off the runway.
Yeah.
There was like
Right.
a runway challenge where they're on a treadmill in 8-inch heels. Like they really got truly insane camp with it.
There was another runway that I remember where it was on water, and
Yes.
the models had to sort of, the steps were on water, but they were like wobbling.
Yeah.
And these girls were in high heels and they're trying to, and what I remember
It was Fear Factor.
pretty much,
Yeah.
but what I just remember looking at that and feeling like, and and Tyra and all the other judges were like laughing and giggling and, it felt very mean, like Mean Girl to me.
Well, I think they prepped us for the wild, wild west of the internet, didn't they?
Yes,
Yeah,
they did.
they
Yeah,
did.
that's right.
They did. They did.
In hindsight, I'm kind of like grateful for, what I took away from it, which is navigating, not giving so much energy and responsive and negative
Yeah.
confrontation. But, it also made me stronger in regards to the business side. But yeah, it started becoming where it was, they were definitely humiliating the girls. And I didn't watch it after my season because of that. That was my
Right.
main reason. I didn't
Yeah.
want to see girls being humiliated.
Mhm.
And I thought that as the seasons went on, the more of the shoots were becoming more and more outlandish and ridiculous.
Right.
And they didn't really translate into the fashion arena. So, I kind of just felt a little bit jaded for what they were doing to the rest of the contestants. And the hopeful, I think the thing what people don't understand, I wanted the right to work. And a lot of these
Right.
girls on, and we're so naive and we're so trusting that we're like, okay, this is really going to help us have a farther reach. We're going to have more opportunities. We're going to be able to be self-sufficient. And it just, it came at a cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you won your season. You had this experience.
Yes.
You really managed to build an incredible career after winning
Yes.
your season. It sounds
Yes.
like against all odds.
Oh, the odds were high. Well, also, when I won, there was no social media. So there was no fact checking to know what I had been doing.
Yeah, there was no way for people to be like, oh, look, she's at this event, or oh, that's the 50th charity event. I've
Right,
seen
right,
her
yeah,
at
exactly.
in the same dress.
Mhm.
She's-
Right. I know. It's just kind of great. But no, one of the I did do a lot of fashion modeling during that time in New York, and I traveled worldwide. I had a cosmetic campaigns. I did a lot of fashion commentating and reporting, and I had my own show on E-Networks, and I had multiple specials with Allure magazine. I did Vogue Beauty TV. The list was really insane as far as broadcasting, and it was at a time when I think the only other model at the agency was Heidi Klum, who was getting into television. So
Yeah.
Okay.
they really did believe in me in doing that. And then when I had left New York, I had my son. I did so much modeling, much more when I moved to Florida, because I guess the market for who I was expanded. And
Mhm.
it was amazing because I did catalogs. I booked QVC and Home Shopping Network opportunities. I had at least 30 covers within the first 2 years when I moved back. I did campaign for Waldorf Astoria, like a bunch of hotels, a lot of luxury. So when people say, you should have hustled, you should have had a career, honey, I was working my ass off.
Sure you were. Of course you were.
Working hard.
Hey, Yoanna, let me ask you a question. Before you were on America's Next Top Model and you had signed with Ford, when you imagined yourself being a model, what did that look like to you?
That's a great question because at the time growing up, we were in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So that whole era of like chic and photography and the quality of fashion as far as was so fascinating to me. Sure. And I think putting forth the effort of like really wanting to belong and having that fashion background, I think ideally at that age, I just wanted to break away from the intensity of studying international relations and have a little bit of fantasy. Yeah. And I loved being behind the camera. I loved not being controlled by a schedule. So I felt like being able to travel, working around artists, working around creatives is something I've always enjoyed. I'm very free spirited. So I like someone picking up the phone, a manager or a booker saying, hey, you're booked on this, you got to leave tomorrow. That to me is what makes me feel exciting about life. Okay. So I think that was it. And I also think I looked up to the top models. Like Stephanie Seymour to me was like who I wanted to become, but my own version, and
of course, yeah.
So I was really taken back, and I fell in love with the whole ideal of just like being a part of that group.
So after America's Next Top Model, were you paid as the winner? Was there a prize money, or what was that like?
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Oh, Joanna's laughing.
Oh, no. No, that honey, makes me I was nervous. Not paid.
Oh, no, honey.
I went in the red. I went in the deficit. I went in debt, and I broke out of the debt, and here I am today.
That's incredible. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so walk me through these documentaries. What is sort of happening right now from your perspective? Because we're seeing the clips. They're sort of like dueling documentaries. We're seeing the clips. It seems like Tyra and her team wanted to preempt the current one on E by dropping a documentary on Netflix from Tyra's point of view.
Right.
And I mean, this has been memed to death.
Sure.
But there are so many images of Tyra not taking accountability, putting the blame on other people, showing that she was just really complicit with what was happening to the girls, and that, what was being sold to them was a faulty bill of goods.
Right.
So then we have the documentary that dropped that you are a part of with E. Tell us about it. Walk us through it. How is it different from the Netflix one? What is going on? Like, it really is dominating the news cycles, the internet.
Oh my gosh.
And people are getting really heated about it.
Sure. And by participating, what was your goal, right? But by being in this, because
documentary,
being this documentary, because you've gone on to have, like you said, this really wonderful, illustrious career. And this is a long time ago. And you had said that, one of the things that you didn't really love was like that celebrity, that celebrityness. And so I'm wondering what the goal was by participating in this doc.
Oh gosh, that's a great question. So I knew about both of the docs simultaneously at the same time. And I was approached by Glass Entertainment Group, and that's the one that did the e-doc. Officially, it was going to be on a separate network streaming platform, but I think because the two had separated, whatever happened, and I did know about Netflix. They said it's best you couldn't do both at the same time, even though a couple of the girls did. But I heard initially that Tyra had not signed on to do the Netflix, that they had reached out to her and she had heard about the documentaries and her team. They said they couldn't get a clear answer. So I guess eventually she committed to the Netflix. And I do believe from seeing it, I think it was on the premise of hopefully getting people to tune into Cycle 25. I think that was the goal. Okay. And I feel that the one of the main reasons that I came out to talk about my experience was because this show has been packaged and sold worldwide.
Yep.
Over 150 countries.
Wow.
The same practices are still happening. the same production, the same sort of exploitativeness of what's going on.
Right.
And at a certain point, I'm a mom now. I have a teenage son, but like, I wanted to also come out and protect hopeful, naive, young people who are thinking this is going to be the solution to their dreams and their goals and hopes. And I just wanted them to know, like, hey, the ones in charge are making the money.
Yeah.
And I think it was an opportunity to come out. And also, I couldn't talk about what I was dealing with 20 years ago because I wasn't ready to deal with it. I had a severe exercise disorder after winning the show. I, became so tiny to the point where, it complicated a lot of things in my health. And I felt like that was also something I wanted to come out and share and be very vulnerable and help a young lady or a daughter or a mother who's dealing with the same, because it's not a topic that really gets discussed, especially in fashion. It's a lot of it is behind closed doors, but they do not want it to come to surface.
Sure.
And so I thought it was an opportunity to also kind of set a lot of people that are struggling with the same things that I was free.
Yeah. So take us through this documentary. Tell us a little bit about it, what you talk about. Let people know what is going on in there.
Yeah. So this particular doc, I think they had brought a couple of the winners. I do think there's a lot of cultural critics, which is good. I do think they gave a lot of perspective of the era of when I was on the show and kind of what their interpretation of Tyra is, which I thought was very harsh, especially if they don't really know her that way. I think it's all just assumption. And I think it was also interesting for me from the Netflix doc, hearing other contestants and other winners and their stories and what they had gone through. And I think a lot of people vacillate with how positive it was and how negative it was. It's almost like we were in a cult. So I feel like sometimes they go back to kind of apologize to the main cult leader. And then they go back and they said, no, but really it wasn't that. I don't know. It's a very strange dynamic seeing the contestants and then them kind of shying away from their truth. And then,
well, it's also like, you also said that like you went into debt just afterwards. It would, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I won that show and I went into a bunch of debt and then there was an opportunity to kind of kiss the ring, maybe get a deal, maybe get a contract, like it makes sense why people are maybe sucking up to Tyra, trying to get their own thing going with the network. Like, I understand it, right? A lot of these women have been put into a position of vulnerability just by virtue of being on that show. People don't want to work with them maybe, or they're already kind of, we're part of reality TV. I think it's interesting culturally to watch what's happening, right? I mean, and many of the girls came from a place of poverty before the show.
Right.
And then went on TV, got all this attention, and were lowered back into their community without any support systems.
Sure. And I think a big part, I felt a lot of shame with the debt, partly because, my father was a physician in my hometown and my mother, and they had their practice. I didn't want the stigma of like having a daughter who, they were so proud of, and, being in this small town and the way people talk, and coming back with a tail between my leg. I mean, I was like, I'm going to work the hell out of this debt. And I did, because I didn't want to let my parents down. They wanted me to come home. My mother had enough of the whole setup. She said, they're taking advantage of you. This is ridiculous. I don't like what they're doing with you. You don't see it, but we see it as your parents.
Moms
come
know.
home.
They do know.
They do. Moms know. Yeah.
Yeah. And she kept saying, come home. And she goes, we know you're not telling us what you're really going through. And I wasn't. I was hiding it. Because I wanted to stay in the game. And I wanted to work. And I was so proud of the agency I was with that I just decided, you know what, Yoanna, this is going to be a lesson. You're going to take this as a lesson. You're going to navigate it, and you're going to do the best you can. But I do think it derailed a little bit of my mental health. And that's why I think I was so hard on myself with my body image, for sure.
Of course. I mean, sure, because here you were in front of people who are supposed to know more than you, right? Because they've been in this business. And instead of, it sounds to me, instead of building you up, they were sort of building you up to bring you down somehow, right? Because if you were, the idea is I'm going to be this model, but they're not giving you the opportunity to work. It's almost like you were this indentured servant. You know what I mean? Like you were having to do all these things, but you couldn't, make your career go forward in the way that you wanted to at the time.
Right.
I did want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Have you seen Tyra Banks in recent times? And if you did, what was that like? And if you haven't seen her, what would you like her to know about you, or what would you like to say to her?
Have you seen her since you won?
Oh, yeah. I saw her a bunch since I won.
Okay.
I'm very different in the sense that, how do I say this? She travels with the team, and I get very uncomfortable with people who have entourages. It's something that I've had to work through with. I know I had to sign an NDA, so I can't say who. But that's something for me I find very uncomfortable to be around. And, I did get invited to go on her talk show several times. And, I was paid then to go on to, but, I just take it for what it is. And I think a big part of it is she's not my buddy. She's not someone I'm going to pick up the phone and, talk about what we're making for dinner tonight.
Right.
I'm not really in awe of her, I think, the way a lot of people are. I have other people that I look up to. And I think for her, it's just, she was an extension of a part of my life. Who knows? Maybe if I'm down in the land down under, if I see her, I'll say hello. But, I don't know.
Okay, so you went through this whole experience. Now there are these documentaries. As you reflect on this part of your life, what is your takeaway? Like, what are you sort of saying to yourself and to people who are maybe watching these documentaries, formulating their own opinions? Like, what do you want them to know?
I think we've done a good job dispelling kind of the myth of what it is to be the winner, and what really happened, and just the economics of what goes in. I mean, I can't really assume what people are going to walk away with, because I feel like if I try to get into their heads, and I did do that after the doc, I was like, I'm going to fight these people online, and I'm going to, and then I thought, ew, but I'm going to turn into them. I don't want to be negative. Like, you're like, oh. So then I come to you on TikTok and I laugh, and I'm like, I don't, I felt like I stopped replying, because it just became where you would see so much positive, and then it would be people just attacking and going for it. And I'm like, where's all this emotion coming from? But I will say, there is a rumor that there is PR crisis in the mix.
Yeah.
So
I would be shocked if there weren't PR crisis communicators.
So sometimes I look at the comment, I'm like, who is this bot? What is bot? What bot was this? I mean,
because like you said, the house always wins, right? And this is a 150 country franchise. This isn't just Tyra. This is a machine, right? That we're talking about. So I mean, there are people freaking out in a conference room somewhere as we speak, I'm sure.
Of course. I mean, I think that the idea was to sort of try and explain away what had happened on the show. But now here's this other documentary that is giving what happened on the show from the perspective of the people who were in the trenches.
Right.
And I like what you've done. Honestly, I've been watching how you've handled these interviews and how you approach it. A lot of people are, like you said, giving their opinions and judgments of the situation. You have always been really matter of fact of just the facts. You're like, this is what happened. Here are the words. What you do with it is up to you.
Right.
Which I appreciate, because there's a lot of opinions hopping in the comments.
Oh gosh. And they're so emotional, I feel. And I wanted to come from a very calm, matter of fact place. And I think that's why I was one of the main voices that Glass Entertainment said. And I said, do I come across complaining? And they said, no, you're just very matter of fact. I said, I just wanted to be matter of fact. I just wanted to cut through the fantasy and give the audience, I mean, the title is America, right? So don't they have a right to know what really happens after you come off of a show like that? And I think a big part of the aggression, I think, is because I think when you disclose or you share something that is uncomfortable from what they believed in their mind, or what they thought, what they witnessed watching on TV, or their perception of what they think the fashion industry is really like. And a lot of these people comment and haven't ever even experienced the business of being in fashion. I feel that really is what triggers them because they don't want to look foolish. They don't want to be like, oh, you're making me look stupid. I have this belief in my mind of how it was supposed to be. And now you're putting the little pin in that balloon. And so that's what I take away from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything that you're working on right now you would like the listeners to know about? I think they can check out the documentary if they haven't already.
Sure.
But anything else you want people to pay attention to as we're working on this?
I do a lot of traveling workshops, and I'm also affiliate now at TikTok. So I'm with the Russell Hartley team. So
amazing,
learning the whole world of TikTok. I know you're far more advanced than I am. So
Michael is prolific in TikTok.
Yeah, I think it's amazing because you just do it so organically, and I
really
get in my head, and you're like, I love listening to you. So
thank you. You're very kind. People ask me that a lot. They're like, how do you have time to like curate your TikToks? And I'm like, honey, I'm not curating it. It is filmed in the bathroom. Like it is like I'm running out of corridor. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I really am just switching on the camera. So thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
How did you choose immigration law?
It really chose me. I mean, I've been practicing, I practiced criminal law. I've been at law firms before, but once I kind of got one client and then it really snowballed from there. And there really is a huge demand for immigration law for lawyers who know how to do that work. So once you kind of specialize and kind of get to know it, it gets,
I love it.
You just get really busy really quickly. And next thing you know, you're not working on those contracts or real estate deals anymore.
I will tell you that I remember when Michael started doing immigration law and that I remember he was like, I feel like I need to do something to help somebody. I was like, go ahead and do that. And I remember him telling me about it. And, I think one of the things about Michael is like somebody was asking me about this, like, is he really that way all the time? The way that you see him on TikTok? And I was like, yes, but Michael is very thoughtful and he does really think about what can he do to help somebody do something. So as his friend, it's been really nice to sort of watch him turn into this person over here.
That's very sweet of you.
It's true. It's true. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. But like I think people don't know that about Michael. It's like he one day was just like, I need to do something to help somebody. And it started with one case.
Yeah, it was one case. It was that kid.
That kid?
Yeah. So I had a kid who was just like the coolest kid ever, and I love him so much. And I was like,
and now he's almost a grown man.
Yeah.
See?
So it's been.
I love that.
No, it's great. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad we got to chat with you.
I know. I hope you got the right answers.
No, there's no right answers.
The right answers are whatever your truth is. Yoanna, do you want to give us your socials so we can put that in?
Let's plug
Sure. That. So I'm on Instagram. I'm Yomania, and that's YOMANIA. And then on TikTok, I'm Yomania, I think 02.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Take good care. It was nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Let's get into Tales from the DMs. We've got some incredible DMs.
Incredible?
Incredible. People, y'all are absolutely. Y'all said, you know what? Hold my drink. I'm going to pop a handstand and twerk in Michael's DMs. The things y'all are sending me is so insane.
And let me just say this.
I love it so much.
Yeah, I was going to say, he loves it. He's living for it.
I'm on the spin bike laughing. I'm like looking at the things. I'm like, you're killing me. Y'all are killing me.
Anyway, before we get into the DMs, friends, what do I always say? While Michael is a lawyer, he is not your lawyer. Get your own.
Oh my God. Okay. So first of all, I just have to jump in really quick with this one.
Jump in really quick.
Hey, Michael, I hope you see this message.
Oh, I saw this. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Guess what? Yeah. I saw it.
Uh-huh.
I'm one of those annoying cancer survivors that push trauma on others.
I'm glad we're really happy you survived.
Self-awareness. Yes. And also, yeah. I really need you to get the evil spot on your forehead checked.
Okay. That's what they say.
That's what she said. I know you're smart and kept it together, but it reminds me of a tiny spot of cancer I had to have removed. Keep being who you are. But can you get this looked at, please?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you going to?
So thank you, Forehead Talk, for getting in my DMs.
Where is this little spot right there?
Okay, yeah. It's this. Get in close. Okay. Get in on my close.
Sure.
Because We'll actually do like a right to left reading of my forehead like a palm, because over here, and I will do it. So this is it. This is a broken blood vessel that I had checked in January. And like, this is to clear the record.
Our doctor?
Our doctor.
Our shared doctor.
We go to the same dermatologist.
I love him so much.
And we keep each other accountable. So like, thank you for messaging me this. This is a good PSA reminder. It's always better to have like a cancer prevention girly bestie where you hold each other accountable. So like, I have a friend, he and I go to the boy doctor and we remind each other to just go get boy stuff checked.
Okay.
And that's all I'll say.
Okay.
It's boy part related.
Like girl stuff?
Yeah. Like, do you have a girlfriend where you're like, hey, did you get your
I'm definitely,
exams?
I'm the most annoying person in my friend group. Good. Like, you got to get your boobs checked. You got to go to the gynecologist.
Yeah,
These are
do
very
it once a
important
year.
things.
Yeah. You know,
what?
The pap smear is named after Dr. Papanikolaou. Or no, Dr. Papadopoulos.
Papadopoulos?
Yeah, PAP. It started, so they didn't want to do his whole name, smear. So they just did PAP.
How do you know that?
That's the name. He was, I know his cousin.
Yeah, listen, good for you.
I know. And that was like his flex. That was like his flex.
Get your own flex.
His uncle invented the pap smear. I was like, okay, fierce. Anyway, so this is a broken blood vessel. And this over here, you might have seen last week. I scratched my head with my bike helmet.
Okay.
So
he's okay.
From the eye down, we're not sure.
So we are doing reviews, which we love. Thank you so much for doing that. It actually really does mean a lot to us. And we're going to read some because you guys are hysterical. Here's one. I kind of stumbled into listening to this podcast, but I'm so glad that I did. Not only is it incredibly informative in these wild times, but the hosts have such an amazing and comedic chemistry, like so good. It almost makes me want to crawl out of my introverted shell and find friends. Almost. But until that moment of bravery happens, it is truly enjoyable to kick back, enjoy their banter, and learn something along the way. Highly recommend. Thank you. We appreciate that. I like it inside personally, so I'm not mad at you for staying inside.
You like it inside?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Stay inside.
I do like it inside.
Yeah.
I do. You know that I like it inside.
I'm out in these streets, but I'm also in the house.
No, I'm definitely more in the house.
Yeah.
And
unless it's an estate sale in which it's someone else's house.
I went to an estate sale this weekend. I did.
You're slut.
I know.
Oh my God.
I think the reason why I like it inside is because Gen X was always outside and no one gave a shit and nobody ever knew where we were.
Till the streetlights come home. Come on. That's when you're due home.
That's when you have to be home. Yeah. So I like it inside.
Hey, Michael and Melissa.
Hi.
I was looking for some help because I was summoned for federal jury service. It's a 12-week case from May 11th to July 31st. And if I'm chosen, I'd be sequestered for the duration of the trial. Part of me is like super excited for this. And I kind of want to be chosen because this is such a cool side quest. And like, it'll feel like summer camp, no phones. And like, I'm living for this like courtroom drama and tea. But I'm really worried about paying my rent for the duration of the time I'd be serving, especially because it's over 2 full months. I work 2 part-time jobs and they don't pay for jury service time, and especially not for a case that's so long. I'm also turning 25 and like I only have so many hot girl summers left. And I don't want to waste a whole Pride Month when I'm hot and single. So I just wanted advice on how you think I should go forward because I filled out an excuse to be dismissed and they still said I'm considered eligible. I was also curious of what you think the case may be. My friends and I thought that it could be the Rob Reiner case. But we were wondering if you had like any inside tea of what's happening in California federal courts soon.
Oh, she's in California. I was going to say, okay.
Okay, so I don't think it's the Rob Reiner case because it's July 31st. I don't think he'll go on trial for at least another year or 2. Like that's way too soon in my just like first response.
It's Nick Reiner.
Oh, yes. The Reiner case. Yes. Oh, my God. And I keep mixing up that name.
Yeah.
And I did it on TikTok and everyone in the comments was like, how dare you?
Yeah. Rob was the dad.
Yes.
Nick was the son. The son.
And truly, how dare me? Yes, I should have victims' names right. Anyway, I think that's too soon. I love how messy you are, though. And it really makes my heart sing that like you are someone who's following this show and listening and sending in your message because you sound
adorable.
So I'm so excited that you're a fan of the pod. The fact that you're thinking about the number of hot girl summers you've got left, that is dedication.
It is.
To the whole life. I'm so proud of you because the hot girl summers, you only get so many and it's what you do with them that counts.
I don't know that hot girl summer means that she's dedicated to wholeness. I think that so easy. And we're not shaming anybody, but hot girl does not equal hoe.
Yeah, that's true. You could do like a hot girl in like a bonnet or a habit.
A hot girl is
like some might
a state of mind.
Some might say Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act and Sister Act 2 Back in the Habit. That was her hot girl summer.
Maybe.
So you never know.
As far as that.
If you are in the sisterhood, you can just let us know in the comments. But I do want to talk a little bit about federal jury service because you don't get paid.
Okay.
You get paid $50 a day.
Okay. And let me just say, as like I have my stepdaughter is your age and as feeling like I'm going to be your bonus mom as well.
Yeah.
You already said that you're working two part-time jobs, which I think is sort of what you need to do in order to keep yourself alive. I don't know that your desire for messiness is sort of the way to go this time around.
Yeah.
I think that once a messy girl, deep down, always a messy girl, there will be time in the future when you are establishing your career where you can afford to be off for 12 months.
For sure.
It won't be fun.
You're going to get called to jury duty a bunch in your life.
Yeah.
And the cases are, I mean, if you're going to trial, it's usually because there's like a real critical issue that needs to get litigated. 90-something% of cases settle. So the fact that you're going to get called and eventually serve on a jury, it's almost always going to be messy tea. You'll write that tell-all. Just wait until you've got a stable gig and you can be a salaried employee who takes a week off for jury duty and they cover your ass for you.
Yeah.
The only other thing I want to say about jury duty is just because you qualify for jury duty and they're telling you you're qualifying doesn't mean you're seated on a jury. You got about 5 more steps before that happens. So you got to go. The case actually has to go to trial. You got to sit there and wait. They have to interview you. They've got preemptory strikes. There's so many things that happen where you can explain and articulate you're working 2 part-time jobs. You cannot be sequestered for 12 weeks. You're going to be on Skid Row on the breadline.
Yeah.
So you'll have an opportunity to tell a judge and tell the lawyers and hopefully likely get out of jury duty.
Yeah, you truly doesn't sound like you can afford to do this right now. And as far as things being like messy and fun, I was on a federal jury duty once and it wasn't fun at all. And it was actually really boring.
I got called for one and it was a building, bricks were flying everywhere and killing people.
No, the one that I got in was just this guy tried to rob a parking garage, and he took the attendant and he put the attendant in the trunk of the car that he stole and drove him across state lines, and that's why it was federal.
Melissa, that is so interesting.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
So
no, it wasn't.
You were like, some guy got a free Uber ride. So
no. I mean, it was before Uber.
Reimburse him for gas?
It was the 90s. It was before Uber. But it just took forever. And I remember thinking, I really thought it was going to be more exciting than this. Like, that's... So as
maybe it was because it was your hot girl summer you were missing out on to deal with this guy's trial.
I know.
Okay. Thank you so much for writing in. Please keep sending. You truly bring me so much joy and entertainment throughout my day when I take a little brief recess from court and read your DMs. So thank you so much. This is Brief Recess. We'll see you next week or in court.
You won't see me in court.
Unless she's on your jury.
You don't want that.